Welcome to my show. This is the house of spiritual truth. I'm going to touch base a little bit on frequencies and what it really is, what it means to be reborn into a realm, into higher realms. Just in general, what it really means to be born, because in true reality, when it comes to being born, you have to think about what you learned as a child. Circles, squares, triangles, numbers, letters, colors. These things, when you were born, you were taught, because if you weren't taught, symbols and letters and numbers, you wouldn't be able to speak. So in today's timeline, with people attempting to be reborn, they don't actually have any spiritual knowledge, spiritual truth of understanding what the tree of life really means, because, for all these years, ever since ascension started, the new age started, people have learned about things. They've learned the word ascension, they've learned frequencies, they've learned symbols, vibrations, chakras, learn more about Buddha, but when it comes to, people say DNA, people say temple building, the temple within, there is the tree of life, there's frequencies, there's vibrations and all of this stuff, but there are certain codes that people are missing when it comes to knowing the spiritual truth within the as above, so below realms of the blueprints to divine mothers, to the sacred mother's womb. This is all about the tree of life. This is the masculine, feminine, kundalini's rising, and whatever one thinks about within the Merkaba light body ship. And you have to have specific frequencies to create specific colors. And so when you're getting into the elements, you're getting into the salt, the water, the fire, the sulfur, the mercury, you're getting into all these elements that come into play with the planets and the astrological alignments of many moons, sun and the moon, and all this stuff. But going within and looking at these symbols, and there are the Jewish Kabbalah twist to it, but that's only one timeline. And people today, they can't speak any other language. They speak English, but what has happened, is they, the fallen ones, have no spiritual knowledge. They weren't allowed within the elements. When they say that they didn't have anything to create with, they didn't have seed, they didn't have the seed, so that equals not having any symbols. They don't have the rainbow, they don't have stuff like this. This is why they hijacked it. So they stole Divine Mother symbols, Gaia symbols, the North Star, turn it upside down, inverted symbols, because this is all frequencies. And another part that people are missing when you're looking at the circle, mainly the feminine, they've lost their circle of protection when it comes within the imaginary realms of magic. And this is the transmutation of returning the magic back to the feminine. If there are those who want to take the initiation of remembering, and because there are the symbols that have been lost, hijacked. You look at Native Americans, you look at all the symbols on cave walls, people don't understand them, even though they see the sun cross and the medicine wheel. It is the going within, because the circle has numbers attached to it, within the as above, so below. If you are counting numbers within, Hebrew, the Hanukkah candlesticks, or the 5-pointed star on the 5 points on the North Star, and then you look at 6 points. You can just look at these symbols here, but it includes the planets, and it includes the Pleiadians, all the animals, the zodiac animals, the sacred animals that have been lost, and dragon energy, and you're looking at the top left one, number one, number two, number three, number four, the four main symbols, but that's the part. What does it really mean? It's alchemy. And so if you don't understand alchemy on how it reflects within and without, and the as above, so below, because the true initiation of lifting oneself up comes into purging the darkness that has come into the temple, your temple. You have been born outside of Buddha's temple, born outside of the circle, we will say, and not able to look outside and understand this reality. This is the process of the awakened Buddha, of understanding the purge and the hell that is coming on to Mother Earth. Actually being able to look at it, that goes back into ancient history and the religious times. But everything has been inverted. Well, everything was inverted, and that's what was keeping down the feminine, with the inversion of the North Star, and turning it into satanic music and the Lucy and stuff. But, claiming and taking all the symbols back and rebuilding the circle, and allowing the divine feminine to come back in, the sacred mother to come back in, to her diamond crystal, mercurial waters of what once was, that came through within Mother Earth, and what came through the feminine as a whole, with the perfect balance. But it's all magic, and that's a lot of what people can't see, they can't understand, because magic is creation. Creation is magic. No one knows where they come from, because if you lost your consciousness of where you came from, of heaven and stuff, and the frequencies that you were birthed from, because you came from a higher vibrating place in heaven, but you're also there's storylines of ancient history, and people don't think that there are negative attachments. But then there's also people who can't reflect negative energy to demonic possession, within other people, because with everything going on today, the level of possession, the fallen ones getting into the feminine, that's what needed to be cleaned up, because they still being within the feminine, doing the same thing that they've been doing ever since ancient history. We've come to the end times, and the threshold of where they are being removed from the sacred water, from the waters of Divine Mother, the Sacred Mother, and all of the feminine that resided within Mother Earth, and the Tree of Life, and the nymphs, and river nymphs, ocean nymphs, mountain nymphs, whatever you want to think of, because Mother Earth is a feminine planet. but there are masculine here who protect her, and there are masculine who protect their feminine because they understand what is sacred. You know, the mother, the wife, the daughter, the child, the marriage, the unity, the peace over war, love. You know, this is the road that we are traveling back to, but it's difficult to comprehend um, within the collective of what the truth is spiritually, because Satan has come in and um, you know the bloodline has come in and attempted to manipulate the feminine, and they have birthed themselves into this reality through manipulating the feminine. And but we've come into this time of where we fixed creation because we've taken the symbols back. And everyone likes symbols, everyone likes merkabas and rainbows and and glittery stuff, and stuff that comes out of your third eye, the lotus, the rainbow, shambhala, you know nature, the water, it's Mother Earth. And look what they have done to her, and look what the people do today. They don't come together and pick her up and clean her up. So there's going to be a situation, but this is where it is. This is coming back into the collective of understanding. So stay tuned.